session we are going to discuss organs of government. In that the first topic is civil services. First of all, what is the question with the government is how to call civil servants. IAS or IPS officers are there. How to call them? That is the question here. So, Vidhi Center for Legal Policy recently released book titled From Rule by Law to the Rule of Law 2025 Reforms to Decolonize India's Legal System. So, in this book it is mentioned how to call an IAS officer in India. Okay, at district level it is district collector, block level block development officer, to up to some level the IAS officer will be called with different names. What is role of district magistrate here? A district collector supervises matter of revenue administration in district. Generally, what an IAS officer take care of? Administration. An IAS officer takes care of admin in a district. But whereas district magistrate is chief in charge of this administration. District magistrate is chief in charge of admin. He also have other powers. Okay, maintaining law and order, head of land and revenue administration, and he can coordinate with multiple departments, health, revenue and education. Localized functions also he is having some other roles. Okay, the current role helps serve development, revenue, protocol and interdepartment issues. So, the first power role is maintaining law and order. Second is head of land and revenue administration. Third is coordinate with multiple departments like health, revenue, education, etc. And power to deploy and trigger movement of armed forces in case of emergency. He can call the central armed forces in case of emergency situation or protest in a district. And power to issue licenses like gun licenses to VIPs under Arms, Explosive Cinematography Acts, etc. And in some states, DM has overall supervisory authority responsible for proper management of jails, juvenile homes. He also maintains jails and juvenile homes. In COVID times, there is success in working of DMs. Okay, COVID was managed well because under NDMA, it is DM who had the powers. Okay, so COVID is well managed because DMs are there in every district. They helped a lot to manage the pandemic. Okay, so what is the need now? So, due to these all functions, people are confusing whether district magistrate is same as an IAS. Generally, IAS take care of admin. Just his work is to design the policies of government, whereas the DM implements. But indirectly, it is coming like sometimes other role DMs also looking like IAS officers to the public. So, to sort out this confusion, the government want to change the title of DM to DC. In some places like Punjab, Haryana, it is called as DC only. So, but some people are recommending it is not recommendable to change the title. How? Let us see here now. So, to remove the colonial legacy, why to change the title? First of all, to remove the colonial legacy. The name position of district collector varies from place to place as for administration development in various British administered India in the country, which creates confusion. As the IAS roles and responsibilities change from district to district, it will also create some sort of confusion in their role. And uniformity in name and position. In Punjab, Haryana, regulation district preferred term is DC only. In Punjab, Haryana, DM is called as DC only. IAS officer will be treated as DC only. Through legal terminology is always district magistrate. Even though the legal term is district magistrate, people by used to call him DC. Okay, devolution of power to local bodies. Ensure effective separation of power. In many states, DC also act as revenue judge. So in some places, what is happening? The DM or DC acts as revenue judge. But this is against the Article 50, which states that of Constitution that state shall take steps to separate judiciary from executive. Okay, in the Constitution it is mentioned that we should not mix executive with the judiciary. But the DM is acting as a revenue judge, means indirectly he is going into judiciary now. So the powers are overlapping. That is the problem here. Okay, considerable accumulation of power in the hands of district officer, and they get more power also, because if they become judge also, they will have more power to rule over the people of the district. So why there is a need to make the name of the position same throughout India? What is the need for making name same throughout India? So chairman of PM Office Economic Advisory Council Vivek Debroy worked on doing away with at least 248 redundant outdated colonial laws. So one PM office person is working on to stop redundant outdated colonial laws that are duplicate colonial laws that are interfering in function of CS, civil servants. So he want to reduce this. That's why he is recommending to change the name or role of district collector. Okay, he recommended designation and role of district collector should be made uniform throughout country. That's why he is recommending to change the name or role of district collector uniform throughout the country. However, there are counter views regarding this. Why? Because change in nomenclature of DM post will bring confusion to roles in distribution of power. This will bring confusion to the people. Okay, whether IAS or DM is same, DM is DC is same, this confusion will happen to the people. So even the civil servants also not happy with this. Why? Because they lose their privileges. If their name is given as a low position role name, so then automatically whatever IAS privileges are there, that will be curtailed. Okay, so issue of colonial agency also happening here. Many of the structures and processes in Indian civil service still rely on colonial rules and processes. Example, dual system of administration in Indian cities, outdated personal procedures. So many laws still now depend on British administration policies. So the issue with the mindset, even people can't accept suddenly DM as DC as IAS, like that people can't accept. And aimed at development rather than outcome of policy area, committed to civil service rather than public service, has a president or follower rather than a creator. So these all things will happen, these all confusions will happen. Okay, aimed at development then policy area, committed to civil service than public service. Okay, presidents have a follower rather than a creator, and it is monopolistic rather than competitive. So this will become monopoly, like monopoly system. Once all roles become uniform, they will have more control on people. So this role will have monopoly inside India. Okay, status quo, civil service resist change since they are wedded to their privileges and prospects. So civil servants don't want this because their privileges will be lost after changing their name. Despite 73rd, 74th Amendment, grassroots democracy not given desired result due to reluctance of civil servants to accept changes in authority and control. So, despite 73rd, 74th Amendments, civil servants are reluctant to accept the change in their authority and control over a district. And a rule book of bureaucracy. This led to issues high-handed because bureaucratic behavior. DM in Tripura suspended recently for riding a marriage party and misbehaving with quests. But this is led to bureaucratic behavior also, because an IAS thinks that he is the supreme power inside India. Because an IAS thinks that he is the supreme power inside India, he thinks that he had power to ride anywhere. So that's why an IAS officer rided a VIP marriage party and misbehaved then he got suspended. Okay, this led to red tapeism, complicated procedures, poor responses to the needs of the people. They even don't respond to the original needs of the people. Suppose a village is not having proper sanitation and water or electricity, at that time they don't respond soon. But when a VIP is making some public nuisance, immediately they will go there and they will check what is happening. This is the issue with IAS officers nowadays, because they always want to prove their power and ego issues before public. Okay, so political interference, this led to issues of corruption. Even if they involve with politicians, they will get lot of money in name of corruption. Okay, arbitrary transfers of honest civil servants, those who work sincerely, they will get random transfers from the politicians. Okay, Haryana IAS officer Ashok Khamra, frequent transfer. Example, this is an example. Okay, inefficiency, institutional decline and lack of professionalism. There will be no efficient government. If all civil servants are corrupt, what happen? Automatically the government may not be efficient, and the processes or institutions will fail. Suppose the government formed a committee in which 5 IAS officers are appointed, but if all 5 IAS officers are corrupted, then automatically this committee will fail. Okay, and lack of professionalism. Because of corruption, there will be no professionalism. They behave like local people, As per 15th report of 2nd ARC, it is now vital to re-evaluate and redefine district administration function after he constitutionally mandated establishment of Panchayat Raj institutions and municipal bodies. Whatever may be the opinion of public and IAS officers, there is a need to re-evaluate what is the original power of IAS, how to call him, whether the DM can be an IAS or IAS can be a DM or DM can be a DC, has to be decided after figuring out public administration needs of each district. Okay, so after all these things, we have to think of what should be the code of conduct for civil servants. When they are in duty, what are the rules? Code of conduct is nothing but rules they must follow to make them honest and efficient. So, these rules govern a civil servant's behavior and conduct. What are civil services? All you know, 3 All India services governed by Article 312 of Indian Constitution, IAS, IPS and Indian Forest Officers, with officers allotted to various state cadres by central government. The center then gets a certain percentage of officers from each state on central deputation. So, 3 important roles are there: IAS and IPS and IFS. They are under center. Some other 25 services also there in UPSC. Other services are called central civil services, such as Indian Foreign Service, Indian Revenue Service, Customs Central Exercise, Railway Board, etc. things. All other also there in UPSC. They are under central government with no state cadre system. However, only for IAS, IPS, IFS officers, state cadre is decided. Okay, state cadre, state involvement will be there. But these other services are directly under the control of the center. Okay, rules governing civil services. There are 2 sets of rules for civil servants. One is AIS Code of Conduct Rules, and other CSS Code of Conduct Rules. Okay, 2 types of rules are there for civil servants. These are framed based on recommendations. From Committee on Prevention of Corruption, headed by K. Sanathan, constituted by in 1962. These rules are formed in 1962. Okay, by Committee on Prevention of Corruption, headed by K. Sanathan. So, Code of Conduct highlights what are the Code of Conduct or rules that govern civil servants. So, every member of civil service should maintain high ethical standards, integrity, honesty, political neutrality, accountability and transparency. They must have ethics, integrity, transparent, honest person, genuine, reliable person, Political neutrality. Politically, they should not behave biased towards one party or other party. And accountability, they should follow the rules and regulations properly, and timings also, timings of the government properly. Transparency means they should be reliable, fairness, impartiality, responsive to the public. They must use public resources efficiently, effectively and economically, declare any private interest relating to his public duties to resolve any conflict of interests. When doing duty, he should not show his private interest on any public issue, and he should not misuse the public resources. He should efficiently use the public resources. At all times maintain devaluation. This is nothing but he should not spend more. Okay, suppose in winters also he should not on AC 24/7. Then what happens? Automatically government is going to get the bill. This is a small example I am telling. Government is will be getting the electricity bill. In riots also, in times of protests, he should not assign 100 officers in place of 25 officers. This is waste of 75 officers government resource. Okay, like that he should use resources efficiently, effectively and economically, declare any private interest relating to his public duties to resolve any conflict. All the times maintain devolution to duty to do nothing which is unbecoming of member of the service. No member of the service shall use his or his position to secure employment for his family members. He should not recommend a job for his family members personally. Okay, give or take or abet giving or taking of a member of service may accept gift from near relatives or friends having number of facial dealings with him. The IAS officer can take gifts from his friends and relatives. But he shall report to the government if value of such gift exceeds 25,000. So in case the value of the gift exceeds 25,000, he should inform to the government. While members who hold personal political beliefs, these rules restrict the degree to which they act on them. For example, members are not allowed to be part of assist political parties, interfere with or take part in election to any legislature or local authority. They should not join political parties. Means they should not assist political parties meetings, and also they should not participate in election. Okay, to criticize any current policy or action of government. Suppose a government is doing something, they should not criticize that policy at all. Suppose Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme is there. Okay, so they should not tell like that why this scheme is only for girls, why the government can't give for boys. Like this hypocritical opposing the government statements, they should not give. Okay, penalties for transgressions. Major penalties can include dismissal from service as well. So they will be dismissed from service when they do all these things. Suppose they exceed any of these rules, they will get dismissed from the government. Okay, besides there are also penal provisions mentioned under Prevention of Corruption Act. They will also get penalty in case they prove they are doing corruption involving with some politician or political party. However, there is some flaw. There is a flaw in these rules. Why? Because they do not speak on corruption. What to do with corruption? They are just telling that they should not take gifts from relatives, they should not help relatives in getting job, or they should not join in political party meetings or elections. Like that, restrictions are there, but corruption thing is not mentioned at all, and personal behavior also not mentioned. Because an IAS officer generally take huge dowry in every state, but dowry thing is not discussed here. Personally, if they are not good, personally they are torturing their wife or spouse, so that is not nowhere related to this ethics thing. So code of ethics, code of conduct, you can see here, code of ethics, set of principles based on values, morals, which company make decisions about what is right, wrong. explains how decisions made, focuses on values, narrow scope, publicly disclosed. What is code of conduct? Is set of rules, regulations, explain appropriate behavior in specific situations, dictates how employees must act, focuses on rules and compliance, broader scope, usually only accessible to employees. Okay, this is publicly disclosed. That is the difference between code of ethics and code of values here. So now we are discussed how the role of CS. Role of CS, his name must be collector only, IAS only, or DC or D. DM. Okay, we discussed this and we discussed code of conduct rules for IAS officer. Now we will move to another we are discussing the person wise now. Now we will discuss the system wise. Okay, what are the reforms needed in civil services from government side, that we will discuss. So on April 21st is a National Civil Services Day every year. 21st April is National Civil Services Day, celebrated on 2006 first. The purpose is to acknowledge contributions of civil services servants in public administration. What is the history? Indian first Home Minister Vallabhbhai Patel addressed probationaries of administration service officers on 1947. What is the objective of making Civil Services Day? To motivate and appreciate work of civil service officers. So the Civil Services Day is celebrated on 21st April. They appreciate the efforts of IAS in developing India, and also they give motivation. This was first celebrated in 1947 by Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, so evaluate work of various departments and award position outstanding individuals and groups. They also get motivation and awards in this. Okay, so PM awards for excellence in public administration are presented in this. What is the award here? PM award for excellence. So PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan has received the award first time in innovation category. PM Gati Shakti Mission has received a award in innovation category on this Divas. Okay, constitutional articles. What are the articles related to CS? 309 to 315. All articles are related to IAS officers only. Okay, who is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel? You all know. Especially I need not to tell. He is a lawyer, influential political leader, barrister, statesman who served as first deputy PM and Home Minister of India from 1947 to 50. He is also known as the steel frame of India or Iron Man of India, and he played a significant role in integration, political unification of India. Started dictator to him called. So he is the political dictator of India. Governments constitute the backbone of Indian administration. They ensure implementation of government policies, ensure passage of benefits to people. They frame the policies, civil servants frame the policies and implement the policies, and whatever the results, good results are there, they will, benefits are there, they will give to people. They will provide the results to the people. So the civil servants in India consist of IAS, IPS and IFS. Okay. So what are the problems Indian civil services is facing? Issues faced. Okay. Lack of professionalism, poor capacity building. Okay. Lack of professionalism, because why? Because civil services roles are not appropriately given. That's why they lack some skills to do their role or job perfectly. So that's why for capacity building issue, Mission Karma Yogi has been launched. This we discussed many number of times in many classes. Mission Karma Yogi is there to allot proper role to proper person. an inefficient incentive system that does not reward meritorious and upright civil servants. So there is no appreciation or reward for efficient officers inside India. So rigid and outmoded rules, procedures restrict exercise of individual judgment on efficient performance. Even though some officers, there is no appreciation. If an officer is efficient, he can't take own decision because of rigid rules in India. Rigid rules are framed, they need approval for everything from PM office, like that. They need the approval, then only they can make some decision, they can go forward. In urgent times also, emergency situation, in protest time also, they have to take approval of the government, means it is very difficult for them. They can't work properly, function properly because of this delays in administrative processes. Okay, so that's why lateral entry, government is allowing lateral entry. Persons who are capable, very capable, even though they do not clear IAS exam, they will be given roles of in IAS. They will be given IAS roles. Personnel from private sector are selected for administrative posts in government. In case of there is a lack of civil servants, there is vacancies. Suppose a district needs 50 collectors, a state needs 50 collectors, but only 35 are there. Other 15 will be filled by lateral entry. Okay, lack of accountability, transparency, adequate, no protection with whistleblowers. So always the officers are corrupted. Always the officers are corrupted. Even though a person from government office in IAS office has reported to the government that so and so IAS is corrupted, then there is no protection to such type of whistleblower who speaks openly, who expresses his concerns directly to the government. There is no safety to such people inside India, even to journalists. If journalists go into celebrity articles, okay, celebrity information secrets they reveal, then automatically the journalist will be suspended, or he will get some threat from so and so political party, like that. There is lot of problems to whistleblowers inside India. And Swamita scheme, it is a reform steps towards solving this issue. Swamita scheme is a reforming scheme that has developed to solve this accountability issues. And political interference. Even politicians, even though an officer is efficient, he took one own decision, due to rules he can't implement it. At the same time, even politicians interfere in everything of government, so they do not allow the IAS officers to work properly. That is a major issue causing IAS officers to be efficient. Arbitrary transfers, insecurity in tenures, erosion in ethics. There is no ethics and values, there is no value to a IAS officer. Okay, corruption, nepotism. Okay, nepotism also there. Suppose an IAS officer belonging to a political family, then automatically he will get backdrop from his family, so no one can't do anything with him. That's the issue. Okay, patrimonialism, a form of governance in which all power flows directly with the leader. Okay, so the power lies in the political leaders only, and IAS can't do anything. He will stay like as a government eye only in some districts. Okay, so centralized public grievance redressal monitoring system. This is a new system introduced by government for online web enabled system that provides facility to lodge a grievance online form or geographical location. This is a online system recently introduced by government, so that the officer can submit his grievance here. Okay, RTI, citizens charter, resistance to change form, civil servants themselves. It commemorates day when Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel independence India. Okay, so RTI, citizen charter, these are the initiatives to support CS inside India. So what is a new ethic of civil servants? Selfless service, empathy, duty bound to drive India transition from Amrit Mahotsav to Amrit Kal. Even though they are duty bound, they are sincere always. They selflessly serve to the betterment of the country. They live with empathy and passion towards their duty, and the removal of colonial mindset, sharing sense of pride in Indian roots with nation first approach. A future ready civil service which is proactive, polite, professional, progressive, energetic, enabling, transparent, tech enabled, creative, constructive, imaginative, innovative. So these are things: imagination, innovation, technology enabled, creative, progressive, professional, energetic. Okay, that type of civil services must come into India to make the civil services more efficient. What is expected from the civil servants means maximum governance, minimum government, cooperative federalism through uniformity in administration across union and states, maximum governance, minimum government, minimum resources, government. Okay, so the Indian civil services must transform itself to rigid, restrictive, rule-bound colonial bureaucracy to one rooted in national ethos. So from rigid government to dynamic government, the government must change, the civil servants must change to bring progression in Indian society. Okay, so what are the reforms recommended in civil services? So many critics of government, they suggest that some methods in army must be copied into CS. Methods of army, because the army is more dynamic in India, so army methods must be copied into civil services. Okay, the Indian civil services exists to end poverty. Why civil servants are there? To end poverty, to improve governance so that people automatically come out of poverty. So war and poverty is won by rising productivity of first 5 physical and conceptual places, states, cities, sector, firms, skills. So in state or city or firm, innovation must come so that the government will change automatically. So India's strategy for reducing poverty, generating high paying jobs through urbanization, formalization, industrialization, financialization, human capital. So India wants to reduce poverty by improving job opportunities. Improving job opportunities. How job opportunities will be improved? By urbanization, by developing cities, and formalization means formal methods will be adopted inside India so that the rules will be easy for everyone. And industrialization, industries must be developed. Financialization, financialing everything, even unorganized sectors have to report their income to government, means automatically they need some personnel who work with professionalism. Okay, and human capital, humans must be developed. Even though the government is having more opportunities, but people are not there, it is of no use. Suppose if you see US, Europe countries, why they are hiring Indians more? Because they have people in their countries, but the population is already low. They are deficient in skills. So they want people with skills. That's why they import people from India to work in their companies. So human capital, population is very important for the growth of a country. To implement in India has new policy weapons like GST, MPC, UPI, DBT. These are GST, UPI, okay, monetary policy. These are things are implemented to improve privatization and financialization inside India. So what stops the public service outcomes that reduce poverty? Okay, the government has execution deficit. The private sector has trust deficit. So government is unable to execute their policies because of colonial drama involved in CS rule. Okay, rigid rules and things, so that the CS can't perform well. Okay, and the private sector has trust deficit. Trust is a big problem in private sector. So non-profits has scale deficit, means a non-profit making companies, they can't scale their company because they don't have profit. They can't invest in more places to scale their company. Suppose a national company is there, if it is already in loss, it can't grow to international thing. Okay, dysfunctional human resources regime for civil servants. Even whoever the civil servants selected every year, they are dysfunctional. They are not up to the mark, or not with integrity, etc. things stop them to work efficiently for development of government. Okay, so what are the reforms needed in civil services now? So, copying 3 HR practices from Indian military. What they want to copy things from Indian military means, already we have discussed Agnipath scheme. Agnipath scheme. In Agnipath scheme, what happened? They recruit 100 people, 100 army people. Only 25 people will be permanent, and 75 people will retire every 4 years, like that. Okay, only 25 people are permanent. Like that in civil services also, they want to introduce one system where they recruit 100 people, but only 10 people will be permanent, and 90 will be retire every 10 years. 90 will retire every 10 years. So they will recruit another 90 people in place of these. They will try different people who are efficient for public functioning, and 10 people will be permanent because they are experts. They are nothing to compare with any others. That type of experts will be there in some important committees of parliament, like Parliamentary Standing Committee, JPC. In that they will be placed. Okay, so hiring fixed terms for successful candidates. There will be fixed term for successful candidates. So what is the tenure? Agniveer, the courageous Agniveer revamp. Only 25% of recruited soldiers stayed after fixed duty. It will gradually rise military capital expenditure. Even the government also save the expenditure in training IAS aspirants. If they make the IAS also like Agnipath scheme, they will save lot of money to the government. Democracy journalists are politicians, while civil servants are technocrats. Means politicians only frame rules, frame policies. Theoretically, they work. But CS are very dynamic, that they have to work with many departments like IT, finance, HR, many departments they have to work with to make the policy implementation efficient. Okay, so whose mandate changed from ruling to government? Specialization. Young military recruits compounding skills, pick an area of expertise over decade. Early Indian civil services must replicate this. So skills also, military people will have skills, separate skills that suit to their job role. In the same way, the civil servants must also have great skills so that they can govern well to the Indian society. Okay, what is the structure? Performance management forced by a frozen pyramid. Civil servants selection is highly meritocratic, but their careers are adversely influenced by outdated HR practices that do not punish bad performance. So they have outdated rules are implemented in CS functioning. That's why even though they are not performing well, they are bad, the government can't do anything with them because they are permanent in their role. This permanent confidence also give them negligency or lazy in implementing policies soon. Okay, the performance management system in military promotions with honest appraisals has been disciplined. Okay, so military people will also get promotions, appreciations. Like that, CS should also get some appreciation so that they will be encouraged, they will get motivation to perform their job well. So how will this transform Indian civil services? Rise competition. If one person got an award, automatically the other IAS will compare himself to him. That competition spirit, motivation will come inside. Accountability, uncertainty, rise moral courage, ability to speak out irrespective of consequences of ourselves. They will get the courage and self-confidence also, so that they can, one minister is making one new policy, if they are not happy with it, openly they can tell immediate basis. Okay, that type of courage, motivation should be provided to each and every IAS officer. It is time for civil services to learn the cutting edge HR practices from the military. Okay, what are the three practices? Like Agnipath scheme, they have to retire every 10 years. Only 10% people should be permanent. And they must have skills compared to their job role. And they must be provided promotions and awards time to time so that it makes them competitive and motivative. Okay, so the civil services must get some methods like army so that it will make them more efficient compared to existing civil service system inside India. Okay, so the next topic is the parliamentary committee want to reduce civil services examination selection cycle. So till now we have discussed reforms in CS. Reforms in CS. Now we discuss exam oriented topic. UPSC exam oriented topic. Okay, that is they want to reduce the time duration between prelims, mains and interview. Why they want to reduce? To reduce the tension on the aspirant. Tension, mental, physical, psychological, how they go through. Suppose a aspirant is preparing for UPSC, he will go through lot of mental pressure, etc. things. Means between prelims to interview, there is a duration of like 1 year. In this 1 year, he has to suffer a lot. He go on preparing materials, he will be taking suggestions from several coaching institutes, he will be attending mock tests. If there is any late, he will get tension. So they want to relieve the UPSC aspirants from this mental trauma. That's why they want to reduce the cycle between prelims and mains and interview of UPSC selection process. Okay, heavy toll on physical mental health. Parliamentary committee asked UPSC to reduce civil services examination selection cycle. Okay, so reduce the civil services, reduce recruitment. Less time of examination cycle, less mental pressure and physical pressure on the candidate. So examine reasons for low turnout of candidates. Improve understanding barriers of participation, ways to increase participation rates. So what examine the reasons. Suppose 10 lakh applicants are applying every year for UPSC, only half 50%, 5 lakh people attend the exam. So why this gap is coming? They have to review why this gap is coming and they have to improve the participation thing. And furnish details of examination fee collected. So they have to furnish the information of exam fee on website so that it is transparent to even poor students. They can analyze whether they are serious towards exam or not. And appoint an expert group to assess the impact of. Appoint an expert group to assess impact of changes. More informed decision making on changes to recruitment scheme and syllabus. So there must be an expert group to inform any changes in the exam immediately to the candidates. And publish answer key after every exam. So after exam they have to publish the answer key so that it will be easy for the candidates to assess themselves whether they can clear the exam or not. Collect feedback and effect improvements. They also collect feedback from aspirants attending the exam and next time they will improve the things. Okay, suggestions by other committee for recruitment. Reduction in age limit. So even some other committees also recommending reduction in age limit for UPSC. From Hota committee has recommended age from 32 to 26 years. Introduction of common preliminary exam for all central services. And introduction of common preliminary exam for all services in the center. And the second ARC report, what they are suggesting, introduction of lateral entry. Lateral entry, you might know, means whoever the persons are there with skills, they will be entered indirectly into civil services. Okay, recruitment of specialists to domain specific examination, strengthening training capacity building of civil service. This is nothing but mission Karma Yogi again. So other issues with civil services. What are the other issues? So conversion of ICS into IAS. No attempts were made to link IAS with Indian philosophy of public administration. So immediately after the British gone from India, immediately they changed ICS into IAS, but they clearly don't know what are the roles and responsibilities, whether ICS can be linked to IAS or not. And excessive element of security means permanency, permanent job role to an IAS officer. Only central government has control over an IAS. So this permanency give them lot of confidence and to misbehave in their roles. So this permanency give overconfidence to officers. They behave overconfident, so it leads to corruption. Lack of specialization means suppose a IAS officer who did MBA HR, then he is entered into some other financial or IT section or medical section in government. Then he can't work well because his skills are not matched to the role. That is a big problem. That's why skills must be improved. Absence of systematic mechanism means there is no inbuilt mechanism for re-inculcation of senses of purpose and motivation in civil services. Absence of such mechanism lead to insensitivity and lack of concept. So there is no mechanism to motivate civil servants. That's why they lack concerns regarding issues. Whether when there is an emergency, an officer stay peaceful, because he thinks that once the government tell him, then only he will work on it. Okay. So what are the reforms required in civil services? This section already we discussed. Okay. Mission Karmayogi, lateral entry, e-Samiksha, real-time online system for monitoring follow-up action on government decisions. Okay. They directly live. By live, they are monitoring the actions or decisions of a CS. Okay. Citizen charters mandated all department or ministries regularly updated and reviewed. Citizen charters will be regularly updated and reviewed so that the ministries will get to know whether the CS is performing well or not. National Conference on E-Governance. E-Governance platforms are there where they engage the CS properly into it to react to the public complaints or questions immediate basis. Platform for engagement with experts, intellectuals to exchange experiences relating to e-governance initiatives. And CSG RPM already I told you in another section also, that is to complain to lodge a complaint and public grievances and to report public grievances. National E-Governance Service Delivery Assessment. Okay, assessment of efficiency of e-governance service delivery. Okay, this is nothing but e-Seva service delivery assessment. Okay, these are things are now in practice to check the performance of each and every CS inside India. Okay, civil services reforms, especially in recruitment training, is necessary to enhance administrative capability in response to new challenges faced by state and institutions. So every time recruitment training and proper monitoring of CS is very important for development of India. Okay. So this is all about civil services, friends. Hope you like the video. For many videos like this on our channel, please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you.